Hey, today's topic is style for people who use introverted thinking. I will explain the difference between introversion overall and using an introverted cognitive function, how introverted thinking can inform your signature style based on what position it occupies in your personality. And be sure to stay tuned to the end for a ramble on a new connection I'm making between Myers-Briggs, personal identity, and all the things. I'm Rebecca Mielke. As your visual identity consultant, I take you on a journey of self-discovery so you can align your inner and outer self, show up confidently, and contribute your gifts to the world. Before I jump into introverted thinking and your style, I want to invite you to take my free style personality quiz. Find the link in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Okay, so the difference between introversion overall, like you are an introverted person, and using an introverted cognitive function relates to the position of the function in your cognitive function stack. So I'm going to explain that. Your cognitive function stack is the 4 functions you prefer using in ranked order and in an A-B pattern of introversion and extroversion. So Personality Hacker uses the car model, a 4-passenger car, to illustrate this. When we do your personality profile interview, I will explain your car model to you and what it means about your personality in so much more depth than just these 4 letters. And right now, for the first week of July, I'm offering a sweet deal when you buy a partner profiling package where I interview the 2 of you separately and then do your explanations together. I will throw in a digital seasonal color palette, and you can learn more at signaturestylesystems.com. Back to introversion and introverted functions. So if you are an introvert, you lead with an introverted function. Your second is extroverted. Your third is introverted. Your fourth is extroverted, an A-B pattern. If you have INTP or ISTP preferences, your dominant function is introverted thinking. If you have ISFJ or INFJ preferences, your third function is introverted thinking. It's the other way around if you're an extrovert. So if you're an extrovert, your first or dominant function is extroverted, but the second one is introverted to balance you out. So if you have ENTP or ESTP preferences, introverted thinking is your second function. It's still a significant strength and part of your personal genius. And if you have ESFJ or ENFJ preferences, it is your fourth or inferior function. So introverted thinking as a function uses impersonal criteria internally to evaluate truth. It's making decisions about what makes sense. It values logic and conceptual categorization and competency. Personality Hacker nicknamed it accuracy, and the technical shorthand is TI, like a capital T with a small I. Introverted thinking has decided what it believes and isn't afraid to reevaluate if new information comes in. So their style is going to be highly self-referential, often minimalistic, and sometimes rebellious. Some people with this function high in their stack may only feel comfortable wearing black. Style thoughts by type and function position. Here's what I'm thinking. INTP or ISTP, where TI is your dominant function, you want to show up looking like this. It could be good to have a simple uniform that works within your industry, like a black t-shirt and black pants or something. I normally think black is pretty boring on most people, but yeah, TP types could be the exception. one of the exceptions. And you may just choose to work in an industry that you don't have to conform, and that's perfectly fine. So if you are an ENTP or ESTP, then introverted thinking or TI is your second function. So if you like color, please carry on, but find a way to show you are making decisions based on what makes sense to you. So this could be something like adopting a capsule wardrobe, or like the people who always wear a dress. Or here's one that you should definitely try, and I actually would recommend this to anyone. Only wear shoes in the color of your hair. If you do this, all of your shoes will work with every outfit, color-wise. I mean, obviously, there's style stuff that might not work. Okay, so number 3, if you are the third function, if you're ISFJ or INFJ, introverted thinking is your tertiary function, your third function. So the third function is a place of playfulness, and I love the idea of having a slightly rebellious, off-duty look if you are one of these types. And finally, ESFJ or ENFJ. Introverted thinking is your fourth or inferior function. So it's a position of aspiration. I suggest you come up with a way of pre-deciding outfits that make sense to you, whether it's hanging them together, choosing them the night before, or using a lookbook, or whatever else you might come up with. Okay, so the new connection I'm making between Myers-Briggs, personal growth, and identity. I have been reading the book Living Fearless by Jamie Winship, in which he tells amazing stories about his adventures in living out his specific God-given identity. I have found that often within like church groups and that type of thing, we focus on really general identity, like being redeemed, belonging to God's family, that type of thing. And we rarely focus on how our identity is informed by how God specifically made us. So I've been praying and asking God to reveal how he wants me to live out my specific identity. And he's revealed 2 specific aspects. 1, friend, as in both his friend and a friend to others. And 2, truth bearer, as in sometimes I have an uncomfortable truth I have to share with someone, and sometimes I know an uncomfortable truth about someone, and I just need to carry it with them. Carl Jung believed that when we integrate our dominant and inferior function, they create a transcendent function capable of much greater things than either the original 2. And I am seeing this idea reflected in the identity, the specific created identity I'm talking about here. So my personality type is ENFJ. My dominant function, extroverted feeling, is all about relationships. My inferior function is introverted thinking, the one we've been talking about in this episode. And my task this calendar year has been to practice telling people about how their actions impact me. And my identity that I described a minute ago combines friendship and truth. Would you like to know your dominant and inferior functions? I would love to help you step into your God-given identity. So your homework for this episode is simply to consider whether you need the personality profile and palette, which comes with a palette, it's in the name, just for yourself, or whether you would like to do it with somebody, a partner, obviously it's in the name, partner profiling, or your mom, sister, business partner, whoever. In which case you will want to act now so that you can get the limited time free palette offer. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I'll meet you back here again real soon.